Whisper ASMR. Hello, 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 and welcome to another video. Now we have the opportunity to film at a later time, so taking the opportunity to film a couple of videos to bank, so to speak. We'll see. I will probably post out of my normal schedule, which is once a week, most of the time every Tuesday, but since I'm probably going to be filming 2 or 3 videos in advance this weekend, then I'll probably post at least one of them over the weekend, maybe tomorrow. As of filming this, it's Friday now. Friday evening. Happy Midsummers. In Finland, it's Juhannus, Midsummer's Eve, or Midsummer's Fest, that sort of thing. Many places have that kind of festivities. I'm not a big party goer, so I like staying at home, and tonight doing ASMR videos, and I want to keep it simple, very simple. I'm going to keep it just mouth soundy, whispery, and ear to eary, from ear to ear. I wish I knew how to properly do the thing of fluttering. Some ASMR artists do this beautiful thing of fluttering, and my motor skills just aren't. They're just me doing creepy Zoidberg movements. So it is what it is. You get what you get. And I still do hope you enjoy it. But now we're going to nibble. Nibble on the microphone. Nibble on the microphone. Just these sounds from the mouth, and from the hands apparently, because I couldn't set my hands down. It is kind of weird for me to wear this bigger shirt, but I figured it might be nice to have a little crinkly shirt on the video, so the sounds of the clothing can also be captured by the microphone. the microphone. Sounds of the clothing can also be captured by the microphone. By the microphone. The sounds of the clothing can also be captured by the microphone. It is a comfortable shirt, or more of a jacket. I believe it is called a parka style jacket. It is just this zipper, long zipper in the front that only goes about that much down. Then it has this big pocket in front, a stomach pocket, and it's really comfortable. I bought this from a second-hand shop a couple of years back. I don't use it often. Because it is more of a jacket than a shirt or a jumper, so it's more suitable in the spring and early autumn and cooler summer nights. Those are the kinds of weathers that I'm mostly wearing this jacket, and I tend to get quite hot quite easily, so I often don't like wearing long jackets and sweaters, because it's not to my liking. I prefer being cool than being hot, so summers are mostly not my thing, at least when it is too hot. So far, the summer in Finland hasn't been too hot, so it's perfect for me. I prefer this, even though I know many people don't. Many people like the hot summer days. I don't. I prefer the cooler weather. And even in the cooler weather, I still bring a fan to many places that I go, so that I can cool myself off. I'm like a menopausal woman. I get these hot flashes, so to speak. So to speak, 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 so S-O-T-O, speak, so to speak. This is what you get when English is not your first language. I occasionally get stuck in words and try to remember how they're spelled and how they're pronounced. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And many accents of slip out my mouth. It's like, I've heard this term they call vocal stimming. Like saying different punchlines or making noises, certain sounds. And I often imitate sounds and accents and sentences that I hear. It is kind of like stimming, I guess. But I have learned not to do that so much in public. It is something that I do often at home. At my own comfort. Maybe those are probably part of the reasons why I like spending time alone and at home. I find it easier. I can be myself when I'm alone. I don't have to put on a certain act or face, and I can just be me. It's easier to be alone, quite often. There's a Japanese term called hikikomori. 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 I believe it's hikikomori or hikikomori. Anyways, a shut-in. A person who rarely or never leaves their own house. I'm thankfully not a complete shut-in, but I could be, and I sort of have been in the past. I have a tendency to be a shut-in. But it is of my own choice. It is something that I'm more comfortable with. Maybe I'm a bit weird, but so what? Nowadays, I'm 37 years old now, so I can't be bothered anymore. At least not as much. At least not as much. This turned out to be quite the rambly video. I'm terribly sorry, but I still hope you like it. But yeah, I hope that me opening up about my weird tendencies, being a bit of a social misfit, so to speak, someone who doesn't live like in a way that is more suited for the general public, or more that is accepted, or behavior that is encouraged in general. My day-to-day life is, at the moment, very monotonous. I like to get up early in the morning, around 7:30. I'm unemployed currently. I quit school in the spring Yeah, I quit school late winter and I started psychotherapy in the spring. That's been going on for almost 3 months now, and it's going good. I think it's going good. I've had a couple of these epiphanies or revelations about my own behavior or patterns that I've been repeating throughout my whole life, and now I'm trying to keep those in mind and sort of try to work against them or remind myself when I'm in a situation that I normally would act in a certain way that would not be beneficial for me, which is I tend to be overly easy, or I want to be very easy person, kind of like people pleasing, and I cooperate in many situations the way that I just sort of calculate or assume that the situation sort of demands me to be a certain way, but in that moment I push aside my own wants and needs, and that behavior has caused me to be in a loop of burnout and depression and anxiety throughout my whole life. There are probably many factors regarding that. Let's combine undiagnosed neurospiciness and some sort of PTSD or CPTSD, and yeah, life experiences. So now I hope with the therapeutic work I can get my life to go to the direction that actually suits my own needs and interests. And it is probably going to be a way of life that is not generally that accepted. I don't see eye to eye with today's sort of capitalistic and growth and work-based, or so this, that everything has to have a sort of like purpose. I have to gain something in order to do something, or otherwise otherwise it's not worth it, and that is something that I just cannot see eye to eye with. Life is not about gain and profit, or at least my life isn't, because I have nothing that I want to achieve with the gains. If the gain is, for example, money, I have nothing that I want to use the money for. I don't want the money. I want the freedom. And I know there are other people like me, but we are sort of this outcasts of society. The people, or at least in Finland, can't talk for other countries, and I can't speak for other people, also I can only talk about myself and other people that I've talked to. But we're sort of these outcasts that are quite often shunned and moralized, called lazy. You just don't want to do this or that. That's true. I don't want to do shit. That isn't something that I want to do. And there's a difference if there is someone who, for example, likes to earn lots of money to be able to do something. They gain a sense of purpose from things that they purchase or places they go to. They like traveling, and they have their personal life that they want to keep up an image, or whatever. There are many situations where people like that. I am not one of those. I don't care about appearances. I just don't care. And I see no point. I don't like traveling. It just gives me anxiety, and I like checking the news. I like reading about stuff or hearing about stuff. And that is enough for me. That is something that my mind just paints the picture, and I'm happy with that. I like learning, but I don't like going to different places. I learn in my head. I have a very rich mind. So I don't get anything out of working only for money. So the things that I have to use my time and effort on have to be something that is actually meaningful to me on a personal level. Or I just want to offer myself. And those kinds of things. Now, this video is such a weird one, and I'm sorry. Thank you for watching, if you've watched this far. I'm glad you stuck around. I was saying earlier that I hope that me opening up about my personal struggles or things that I'm going through or how I'm thinking about things. I hope it gives a sense of relatability to someone. I hope it gives you a feeling that you're not alone. There are others who also see how utterly frustrating many things can be. And talking and sharing, that is where we find companions. We find I forgot the word, Vertainen. Can't remember. People who are seeing things eye to eye with us. Anyways, I apologize for doing this chaotic rambling. I hope you liked it. I hope you got to relax. I truly do. I hope you did. And maybe even fell asleep in the middle of it. And I will see you